think about the power of empathy, I think about the classic habit 5, seek first to understand and then be understood in the 7 habits of highly effective people. You know, empathic listening is really the process of listening with the intent to understand, not with the intent to reply.
I have always kind of felt that empathy is creating a feeling with the way you're handling them where they sincerely feel that you feel like they feel. Did you get that? They sincerely feel and believe that you feel the way they feel. Now that really is what I consider empathy. The first type of person that I want to talk about is the interesting extrovert. Now you notice even in the title of the person, the word interesting is said. Now the reason I say the word interesting is that's what they like to be. In fact, they're rather talkative people, they're outgoing, they love to control conversations, they are real talkers. They would fit the image, if you will, of what most people consider a salesperson to be. The opposite end of the spectrum of temperaments and personalities is the interested introvert. Interested introvert. Now this person is soft-spoken. This person is an extremely good listener. This person loves to let the other person have control of the conversation. This person comes across very, very empathetically towards the buyer. And people really relax with an interested introvert, where again, they somewhat are afraid or put up defenses with the interesting extrovert.
That it's so important that we try to relate to people. We can't expect them to change and to come around to our way of thinking. Really what we want to do is to relate to them in their situation. It really is the only way to truly be able to have empathy and be able to leverage that empathy to be successful in our life and our business. We have to listen with the intent to understand. Very often when we're having a conversation with somebody, even with a sales prospect or anybody in our business, well, sometimes we listen with the intent to reply. We're so busy thinking about what we're going to be saying, we're not paying attention to what they're saying, and we are listening with the intent to reply, not listening with the intent to understand. Habit 5 is the principle really to communicate effectively, and to do that we must first understand each other. So seeking first to understand. You know, one of the principles within respect, in respect, I guess, of Habit 5 is that we must first seek to diagnose before we can recommend. Now, it's a very simple axiomatic rule of thumb that when you're going to solve a problem for someone in sales, you have to truly understand that problem. You cannot diagnose a problem or recommend a solution to a problem without first diagnosing it. One of my basic beliefs in sales is that our primary job is to diagnose problems and recommend solutions to our prospects. Their job is to buy or not to buy. One of the biggest challenges that we get into sometimes when we're in the selling process is that we try to do the prospect's job for them. In other words, we are trying to decide whether or not they're going to buy or not to buy. We're making decisions about whether they can afford something or whether they might want something or not want something. And very often those judgments, those decisions that we're making about what our prospects may or may not do, they're really clouded by your own perception. One of the things I think it's really important to understand, I think Tom's Power of Empathy material really illustrates this, that you have to understand where people are before you can help them. And that's your job, to diagnose the problems and recommend solutions. But you have to diagnose the problem before you can really prescribe the solution or recommend the solution.